do. Um, this is tough. I mean, it's tough because it's such a personal issue, and it's so tricky because you don't want to assume someone has an eating disorder, and it's it's kind of like owning an orange car. You're just gonna see them everywhere, and I feel like I own like an orange car. Like like I have an eating disorder, so sometimes I need to like back up and be like, okay, like not everyone around me has an eating disorder, and they're common, but just keep that in perspective. Like I know like the signs and the symptoms and some of like the shakiness and things like that. But unless like someone like specifically like tells me they have an eating disorder, I'm just gonna assume they're a normal person and treat everyone like a normal person. I think that's just good advice for everything. And that's the thing too about eating disorders. Like you don't know who's gonna have one. You don't know who has an eating disorder. A lot of people just make assumptions about stuff. Um, Somebody, if you say, why do they let anorexic people go work out at the gym, when they shouldn't be there? And I would just respond, you don't know who's anorexic, like, unless you have that person's medical files, like, you're not going to know they're anorexic. So to me, that's just kind of silly. And it kind of digs into the stigma of you have to be a certain size or a certain gender or a certain class to have an eating disorder. So back to helping someone. I think the most important thing to do would be uh, to just kind of let them know that you're there for them, and maybe not ask if they have an eating disorder, um, but just kind of say, I've noticed, you're withdrawing a little bit. Kind of, I probably focus on like the symptoms, because I remember when I was struggling really, really badly, it was kind of withdrawing. I wouldn't hang out with my friends as much. I wouldn't eat as much at home. I would like stand up and pass out, things like that. And so kind of focus on those things. If you notice someone struggling, be like, oh, I've noticed you haven't, hung out with us in a while. Maybe instead of asking them, out to lunch, you can be like, oh, do you want me to, like bring a movie over? Or, is there a show on Netflix? Do you want some company while you watch or something like that? So it's been, and also just kind of like checking in, um, for a beginning stage. If it's towards the end stage and you're seeing some symptoms of some drastic symptoms of malnutrition, if the person's just really, I don't know if like having heart issues, but if there is that passing out, if there is the dizziness when they stand up, um, self-harming marks and things like that, you're definitely going to want to team up with another close friend or even like a parent or something like that. Not to bombard the person, but to kind of come up with a plan together and see if there's a way that you can, as a family and a group of loved ones, just kind of step in and say, listen, we've noticed these things. We're concerned about you, and then we see those. We see them affecting you this way. So I guess that's really the only advice that I could get at is just if you have a friend or loved one with an eating disorder, just let them know the symptoms that you're seeing in them, um, and I don't think I mentioned weight. Because that's probably not even one of it's an issue, but you wouldn't say, oh, I'm seeing you're losing a lot of weight. Some people would say that, but I don't think it's the right way to go about it, because you're just focusing on something they think is a positive, and they're gonna think, oh, great, they thought I'm losing weight, so I'm just gonna keep on doing this. So I think it's just important to point out the aspects of their life that you think the eating disorder is affecting. If it's grades, if it's work performance or something like that, I noticed you've been missing a few days of work. Something going on. Do you want to talk about? Kind of give them the opportunity to open up to you, and just kind of create that safe environment, the safe dialogue, and kind of say that it's safe to open up about it. What I what I told people at the conference was, tell people about me, so you all know me, and you can just say, hey, listen, so my friend Adam has an eating disorder. He mentioned some things. It was really interesting, and you don't have to say, is that something you're going through? You can just mention eating disorder, and sometimes that's enough to get people to open up about it. I just think there's so much power in those words, eating disorder, and saying it out loud, and just bringing the conversation forward like that. I think that's it. That's honestly all that I have. I hope I've answered some questions, and thank you for tuning in. And I'm glad I did this. I hope to do it more too. I think it's super important to get the word out, and then answer some questions too, because a lot of people are curious about this stuff, and I think doing a live video is is a really important step for that. So thank you. I know Crystal, Sean here, a lot of people have stopped by too. Annie gave me some great ups. Yes, thank you all. I really appreciate you stopping by, and absolutely share this if you haven't yet. I'd really appreciate that. Otherwise, I'll throw it up on YouTube probably tomorrow when I'm done. Thank you very much. I love you. Thank you.